So the competition flow of today will be in two sections. The first section will be prepared speech. We have 6 cadets and we'll have their speeches will be between 5 to 6 minutes. Timer will stay on the blue background like that from the very first word from the cadet until 5 minutes. And then right after that, she'll have to switch it to the green. For all the judging scoring, it will be depends on today's performance only, even though you might know the cadet previously, but don't count on that, just the performance of today. And we have all the judging criteria that at the side. Since we only have 6 cadets, the speaking number will be from speaker number 1 to speaker number 6. And for the impromptu, the speaking order will be reversed, but the speaking number will remain the same. So the first speaker of the impromptu will be speaker number 6, and then speaker number 5, and the back to 1. On your marking sheet, you should have only 2 pages. First page, which will say prepare speech, 5 to 6 minutes on the top left-hand corner. And the other one will be state impromptu speech, 2 to 3 minutes. They have different criteria and different weight. We will send all of the judges, the tally person and timer into one of the briefing room. So all of you can discuss about or clarify any unclear cell that the tally person received. Right after the first part of the competition, there will be 10 minutes break for you to the washroom break or to email over the scores to tally person. Between every speech, there will be 2 minutes. But of course, you might not need the 2 minutes full. Whenever you finish, just raise your hand or use reaction raise hand. Then if it's less than 2 minutes, then I can move on to the next contestants. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Greater Vancouver Effective Speaking Competition 2021. My name is Catherine Chuck. I'm the host for today's event. We have 6 contestants today. Welcome everyone, family, friends, officials, judges, timer, and of course, contestants. Let's start with speaker number 1. Speaker number 1, how to be a good environmental steward. How to be a good environmental steward. Speaker number 1.
Judges, fellow cadets, and honored guests, how do you imagine your life in 2070? My name is Flight Corporal Chan, and I would be 64 by then, hopefully retired and sipping a smoothie on a warm, sunny beach in the Caribbean, watching as dolphins and turtles swim by. Idyllic, is it not? Unfortunately, due to the lack of attention to the global environmental crisis in society, this dream will never happen. Studies predict that with our current consumption rates of natural resources for food and power, in a couple decades, nearly all wildlife will be extinct, clean water will be like liquid gold, and the earth will be running out of natural resources. Do we want this to be our future? Probably not. Well, how can we help solve this problem? It may seem that these massive issues require too much international cooperation to tackle, but individual changes on a small scale can result in large-scale changes if we collectively act responsibly. I do not mean to be a preacher on a pulpit, but I have also personally started my own journey to becoming more eco-conscious. From energy saving to eating sustainably to reducing litter, there are so many ways to live your life more sustainably. And I wish that by the end of this speech, you will have just a little more courage to make small changes to your everyday life to help change this world for the better. A staggering 45% of Canada's CO2 emissions come from burning fossil fuels for electricity and heat. And I'm sure you are all already familiar with how CO2 emissions cause global warming, but most people do not think about what they can do to individually fight this, because many of us do not have the courage to change our status quo. I know I have only started acting on this recently. Luckily for us, there are so many ways to save electricity, such as turning off lights when you are not using them, washing clothes with cold water, and hanging them to dry instead of using the dryer. And the great thing is, you save money by doing this as well, and it only takes a small habit for big savings. These examples still barely scratch the surface of power-saving strategies, and I encourage all of you to go to the BC Hydro website to find more ways to save electricity in your own life. Continuing on, if you are not vegan or vegetarian, I am sure you like eating meat. Whether it be fried chicken or grade 5A Wagyu beef, we all love a good chunk every once in a while. However, in a viral YouTube video on artificial meat, Mark Rober, a former NASA engineer, stated that livestock production produces more greenhouse gases than all the cars, trucks, trains, ships, and planes in the world combined. Still, meat only gives similar energy by weight as fruits and vegetables. However, meat is so ingrained in the global diet that people do not want to change their diet practices. That is where you and your family comes in. If we all reduce our demand for meat, farmers will produce less meat, save water, and reduce methane emissions. Fun fact, even if your family just did meatless Mondays for a whole year, it would be the equivalent of reducing the emissions from driving a car from Vancouver to San Francisco. Small changes have a profound impact, so I encourage each of you to review your own family's diet to see how you can personally make an impact on the environment through eating. Lastly, 29,000 metric tons of litter, about the weight of 300 blue whales, are dropped in Canada every year, according to the federal government. Almost all of it ends up in the ocean, killing wildlife by inhumane means, from choking on plastic to polluting their habitats. It is crazy to think that our everyday actions are contributing to such an environmental crisis that can even lead to an extinction of species. Still, organizations such as 4Ocean are taking action by cleaning up our precious lakes and putting garbage in the landfill where it belongs. I have taken a stand as well, picking up trash on a daily basis in my neighborhood. It costs $3 for a pickup stick, but the trash you pick up is priceless. I encourage everyone to work on sorting their trash into their respective bins, such as your paper in the recycling bin and your organic waste in the compost. You can also join me and start picking up litter around your neighborhood. To conclude, I know that this one speech will not make anyone change overnight. However, I urge all of you to try and uncover courage within yourselves. The courage to look at your life critically, the courage to speak out, the courage to change, from reducing our energy consumption, to eating more responsibly, to better disposing of our trash. Environmental change starts within ourselves. Every single cadet here has given me immeasurable hope for the future. And if you all continue with your dynamic drive and optimism, we can conquer this global environmental crisis. And in the future, we will hopefully be able to all enjoy those smoothies on the beach in 2070 together. And that's a beautiful thought.
Thank you, speaker number 1. 2 minutes for the judges. When you are finished, just give me a thumbs up. Let's move on to speaker number 2. Speaker number 2, what does diversity mean to you? What does diversity mean to you? Speaker number 2.
What does a typical day look like for you? As a high school student, my day begins with me waking up and getting ready for school. Now imagine, who do you see in your day? As I walk down my school hallways, I see many faces. They're all unique. I see students from a multitude of different ethnic backgrounds. I see a variety of skin colors, of cultures, and every day I'm amazed by the diversity of Canada. Good afternoon, judges, fellow cadets, and guests. I'm Flight Sergeant Quinn, and today I want to share with you what diversity means to me. We'll be exploring the topics of diversity in Canada, our biases and stereotypes, and finally, influential social movements that have defined our past year. Diversity by textbook definition is the practice of involving people from a range of different backgrounds, including ethnicity, race, gender, and sexual orientation. And in a country as culturally diverse as Canada, many people get to experience this firsthand. In the 2016 Canadian census, 22.3% of the population was composed of visible minority groups, with the top 5 largest being South Asian, Chinese, Black, Filipino, and Latin American. The other 77.7% is a melting pot of European and First Nations people. With such a wide array of groups, diversity in Canada allows us to experience cultures from across the globe. That's pretty amazing, right? To put this in perspective, I can speak French with a friend from France. I can learn about Ramadan from an Egyptian friend, and I can try Ethiopian food with a friend from Ethiopia. In return, I share with them my Chinese heritage. These unique experiences are a direct result from the differences of Canadian people. I would also like to share the story of a fellow cadet I met at a national summer course. She lives in a small town in Ontario, and there in her town, the majority of citizens are Caucasian. As a result, while I may experience an abundance of cultural diversity here in Vancouver, this experience is not replicated for everyone. However, diversity presents itself in many ways. So even in my friend's small town, diversity in the form of perhaps different sexual orientations or genders finds its way to trickle in. And while we're speaking of diversity and what it truly means, it's important to recognize within ourselves the biases and stereotypes we may hold. A bias is defined as a prejudice in favor of or against a group, and a stereotype is how we associate certain traits to a group of people. Let me provide you with an example of a bias, where a capable young woman who applies at a STEM company is rejected, for the company favors hiring men over women. Whereas a scenario for stereotyping could be when a Black teen enters a store and is tailed by security, for they associate them with stealing. These biases and stereotypes can work to impair diversity, giving room to misunderstandings and creating space for hatred, or worse, violence. Often, the reason these presumptions arise can be simplified to one thing: a lack of exposure. So let's think back to the example of my friend in her town in Ontario. Without firsthand experience with people from various cultures, her only contact with them may be through social media. However, with the media, people can fail to recognize the biases and stereotypes presented, taking false statements regarding other groups to be true. Therefore, me, you, everyone who is exposed to the media, it's important to actively engage in eliminating our own prejudice through interacting with people from different backgrounds or doing thorough research from reliable sources. Together, we can eliminate that animosity towards other groups and begin to recognize the gift that is diversity. Unfortunately, throughout the last couple of years, acts of violence and hatred have manifested in our news, our cities, perhaps even our own neighborhoods. Anti-Asian hate crimes are surging in Canada during the COVID-19 pandemic. In reports released by police departments across the country, Asian hate crimes have risen since 2019 by 717% in Vancouver, 600% in Ottawa, and have seen dramatic increases in other major cities, including Toronto and Montreal. These statistics are alarming, to say the least. For me, as a person of Chinese descent with parents and grandparents here in Canada, I'm afraid of what this means for my family, for my friends who are Asian, and the danger this may put us in. However, with social movements like Stop Asian Hate and Black Lives Matter, we courageously take a stand against those who choose not to understand nor accept diversity. We can also hope that in the future, our efforts can help generations after us appreciate Canada's diversity. In the end, diversity to me means the quality of being unique. It's the beauty of our country, a collection of languages, folklore, food, art, history, genders, and perspectives. It's the power each one of us holds to come together as a community despite many differences. And I hope that each one of you today in the audience can harness that power to spread kindness. With the knowledge of diversity in Canada, we can come to recognize the biases and stereotypes we possess and take action through social movements to overcome these barriers. The landscape of the world holds immense beauty, each one of us a single flower blooming amongst the fields. Our leaves may be of different shapes, our petals of different colors, but below the surface, our roots are all connected. Back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Speaker number 2, judges, you have 2 minutes. All right, let's move on to speaker number 3. Speaker number 3, how should we honor the sacrifice made by those who served our nation? How should we honor the sacrifice made by those who served our nation? Speaker number 3.
Every year on November 11th, we remember the sacrifices our veterans made to protect our country and ensure and display our gratitudes towards them in a multitude of ways. Is this enough? Is laying wreaths and presenting, is holding ceremonies Canadian families who lost their loved ones to combat? Good afternoon, cadets. I am Sergeant Sun. Today I will answer the question, sacrifices made by those who serve our nation. To start, we must ask them to remember and honor the sacrifices made by those who serve our nation. Well, in Cadet Remembrance Day parades in previous years, we laid wreaths, we listened to speakers, and we stand in silence for them. As a couple, veterans lived better lives as well as erected monuments in honor. Although these ceremonies seem like a remarkable, I believe we can do better. In fact, our tremendous may not be that tremendous at all. First, we need to re-emphasize the importance of remembrance. From a poll conducted by Historic Accounts, of people surveyed are planning a parade in Toronto on November 8, 2019. Number of people planning to go, not the people actually going. And this number is to display to our veterans because less than half of the time out of one day out of their lives to just attend. I think government organizations show the importance of remembrance, and in conjunction to this, can create more activities that revolve around peace and our soldiers behind that parades, monuments, and wreaths on one day for the bravery of our soldiers. But in my opinion, we have only scratched the surface physical scars, but mental and emotional scars as well. And we should provide more resources to help our veterans. Physically, mentally, allocate more funding towards rehab programs for veterans with PETA-induced disorder. We remember our veterans by helping them. What is more, displaced from their homes through various causes. One of the In 2014, the Canadian Homeless Individuals collected data at over 60 homeless shelters across Canada. 250 veterans use homeless shelters each year, and annual homeless shelter users are veterans. Moreover, there is actually less in veterans than regular civilians. And this is homelessness one condition and have experienced more than 90 days of homelessness in the previous year. Why is for this country be given this treatment in return? The expected, the lack of money, no funds to provide this country alive. And it is up to us to help our soldiers. Proactively raise money for them so that temporary housing is secured for our veterans. We can do this by raising money through causes, remembrance PTA days, and more. And the funding raised can be dedicated to our veterans. Finally, remember the adage, give a day, but teach a man to fish, and you feed him for a lifetime. This applies to many of who come home from their service, but they do not have anything after. Many veterans join the Canadian Armed Forces when they just finish high school, and in the modern world, there aren't enough. That's why for my final point, I strong sources to specialized job and training centers to help us after their service. Our soldiers have and always will defend stability in the world. It is our moral duty to respect and remain the young, providing more resources for rehab and raising money in parallel with awareness for their bravery and sacrifice. The words, "we will remember them," are powerful, but in my opinion, but also put the work in so they can rise one day. Thank you.
Thank you. Speaker number 3, 2 minutes for judges. What does bravery mean to you? What does bravery mean to you? Speaker number 4.
Is being brave doing something no one would expect? Or is it accomplishing a task no matter how hard it may seem? Perhaps bravery isn't this action or experience we're talking about, but instead the realization that we ourselves are our greatest obstacle in life. Good afternoon, honored judges, ladies and gentlemen, fellow cadets and competitors, other welcome guests. I'm Flight Sergeant ISMAIL, and today I have the honor to explain to you the 3 components of bravery and what it truly means to be brave. I'll start off with a simple story of a bird. Once upon a time, a bird landed upon a branch and stayed upon there. This branch provided safety from predaceous creatures below. But eventually the branch broke. But the bird wasn't scared because it knew it had the confidence and ability to fly to another branch. You see, I narrowed this down and chose this story because it's very simple. A simple examination of confidence. Ladies and gentlemen, confidence is a difference between a fulfilled life and an unfulfilled life, a river and an ocean. It's a difference between you getting that job and not getting the job. And we all know overconfidence isn't a trait as well. So I can't keep talking about birds and stones through my entire speech, which brings me to my second component, which is action. But not that type of action you're thinking about. I'm talking the type of action that requires you to do something even when you're scared. 2 summers ago, I was able to go to the glider pilot scholarship course, and that was very scary for me. I still remember my first flight alone. I had to realize that in that cockpit alone, I was going to land that plane, and it was all me, and that was very scary. It was an action I had to take forward. You see, there's 2 different types of fears, internal and external. And most recently, I've gone through a change in my life. For some of you who know me for a long time, it's very visible. But this year, I started wearing the hijab, the headscarf. This is something that took a lot from me because it wasn't the type of fear I felt in the cockpit. In the cockpit, it was stress, it was me, and it was just me in there. But taking the scarf, I took into account your opinions. I took into account how other people would think. And that was external fear, something I had never experienced before. But I strongly believe that in those moments, you just need to take a step back and breathe. Because me choosing to be myself is something that was very hard for me. Probably the bravest thing I've ever done for myself, being me. So continuing forward, I would like to note that within the movies and in our fantasies, they show bravery as this thing where a hero does it and everybody's all happy and it's all sunshines and rainbows. But it's not always like that. I think we all know that because life isn't like that. Sometimes, even after our greatest, strongest efforts, the conclusion that we look for still isn't there. Our paths that we're searching for, riddling through, going above hurdles and below hurdles for, sometimes we still don't get there. But that's okay, because within that moment is the third component of bravery, strength. Having the strength to accept a situation for what it is extremely difficult. Because accepting does not mean liking, choosing, or wanting. Accepting is merely embracing a situation for what it is. Take, for example, the current pandemic we're in. None of us get a say in how this works. We're all cooped up in our homes trying to see when we'll be able to go out again. It's hard. And I think everybody going through this right now is being extremely brave. We aren't able to choose the cards we're dealt with, but we are certainly able to understand how we choose to deal with it, how we choose to react. Having the strength to deal with a situation and not knowing the outcome, there cannot be an act of bravery. So, confidence, action, and strength. To me, these are the three foundations of being brave. The three things you and I can do to display bravery, not only within our communities, in the whole world, but within ourselves. Choosing to be yourself, choosing to be a better person. That's scary. I would like to leave you with a quote by an author, Andre Guide. He says, "You cannot discover new oceans without having the strength to lose sight of the shore."
Thank you. Speaker number 4. Judges, you have 2 minutes. Speaker number 5. What have you learned from the COVID-19 pandemic? What have you learned from the COVID-19 pandemic? Speaker number 5.
What is something unforgettable to you? Your childhood friends, your first love, the day you graduated. These memories have such a strong connection to you, be it happy or sad. They stick with you, no matter how much you cram into your head. 2020 was definitely a year I won't be forgetting anytime soon. With major events and tragedies that would be unrealistic, or should I say impossible to list right now, I'm sure all of you won't be forgetting either. And I especially won't be forgetting when British Columbia went into lockdown. Good afternoon. I'm Flight Corporal Tonica. Members of the audience, fellow cadets, and esteemed judges, I'm sure you know what happened next. Let's rewind a bit. On December 31st, 2019, China reported cluster cases of pneumonia and later its first case of a novel coronavirus. Now, I know that's not technically 2020, but my perception of time is pretty much long gone because of lockdown. When I saw the article reporting about it, I don't think it actually got that much coverage, and I didn't think that much about it. Then more cases were reported. News coverage on the virus increased. Many nations had overconfidence, or should I say, they had overconfidence in their ability to manage the virus, should it come to their country. And then it spread to more countries, and more, and more, and more. And then it spread to Italy, and it got bad. Infections skyrocketed to numbers not seen since the initial outbreak in Wuhan, China. And this is the point where I really started to get worried. But being the neutral and or wishy-washy person that I am, I thought that surely if, or rather once it came to the West, surely we would learn and understand the temporary setbacks required to beat, or at least slow down this virus. How naive I was. March arrives, numbers going up, enthusiasm is going down. Remember when people said that this is going to be their year, and that the new decade will bring them great luck? New year, new me, right? Well, that aged like milk fairly quickly. Then comes the infamous lockdown, and with it, the inevitable side effects. People lost their jobs, business was down, and so many people lost their lives along with their loved ones. The combination of this, plus the influx of fake news, growing stigmas, and certain political insurgencies, and general disruption has definitely brought down people's mood. My motivation for doing just about anything certainly crashed harder than the stock market did. And online school was a whole other beast as well. Lots of people not having proper access to necessary software or even stable internet, technical difficulties in said software, and the overall less than enthusiastic students having to work with this new concept. Many people found it difficult to follow along in this online setting, and as a result, it was pretty clear that this was not an ideal solution, especially for younger children. And unfortunately, the move to online school also pretty much ended just about every senior's last year of high school. It's kind of tragic, isn't it? Imagine your high school experience ending on a random Friday. Now, I'm sure you've heard the term time is money. And it's kind of fitting that with the pandemic, the economy went down the drain, and so did the amount of productive time that we had. Time is the most valuable resource that you can't buy. And while you can definitely say that much was lost because of the pandemic, or rather wasted, I like to think that not all of it was lost to the void. Lots was lost, of course, but in its wake, a lot was almost gained in a way. I'll explain. The adaptable nature of humanity shines through the hazy fog of this horrible situation. For example, breweries quickly adapted to make hand sanitizers during the drought. The amount of creativity that was brought out from people was also incredible. Do you know how many people have looked up how to make sourdough bread, or the amount of people have playing online games, having fun together? It's amazing to see what people can do with limitations. And I'm not sure if this is indicative of anything, but when the pandemic first started, one of my first thoughts was, great, I get more time to sleep. And well, I did, it kind of gave us pause in a way. I got to have more time for myself. I got to do nothing. I got to make something out of nothing. And I just was constantly thinking in that nothing about missed opportunities, wasted time, and even friends I just stopped talking to. And I missed it. I wish I cherished it. I wish I cherished everything, even this nothing. And what is there to lose if I didn't? Well, maybe just about everything. Now, given the chance, even with all the good there was in this pandemic, would I experience it all over again? No, absolutely not. With all the good, there was definitely a lot of bad. And with a vaccine out, we can definitely expect, or at the very least hope, for a return to normalcy in a way. And COVID-19 might have been a train wreck, and it still is. But I do believe there's light at the end of this tunnel. Let's meet again, maybe next time, hopefully in person.
Thank you. Speaker number 5. Judges, 2 minutes for you. Let's move on to our speaker number 6. Speaker number 6, what have you learned from the COVID-19 pandemic? What have you learned from the COVID-19 pandemic? Speaker number 6.
COVID-19, the pandemic said to be the worst pandemic in over a century, leaving more than 2 million people dead and way more suffering. This virus has impacted every single person on this planet, and even right now, at this very second, we are being affected. For example, if not for COVID-19 concerns, We wouldn't be doing competition on Zoom calls. Of course, we'd be doing it in person. Hello, honored guests, judges, and fellow cadets. I am Simon Wang, and I will be talking about what I have learned from this pandemic. The biggest takeaway I have is that our normal everyday lives can be easily turned upside down. Because of a single virus, the whole world was set to a standstill. In Canada, the virus is only getting worse and worse, making going outside a lot more dangerous each and every day. It's honestly crazy how different everything is now compared to how everything was a year ago. Everyone is now required to wear a mask when going out, and there are hand sanitizer stationed basically in every corner, whether it be in small stores, in malls, or even right outside our houses. Before this pandemic, I've always thought that my way of living was completely bulletproof, and never until now will I have thought that something like this would change the world in such a drastic way. Secondly, I've learned to be more thankful for what I have. Due to this outbreak, many people have lost their jobs, and in the United States alone, over 20.6 million jobs were lost. And mind you, that's only in the US. Who knows how many people will become completely jobless at the end of this pandemic? Based on this fact, I'm quite thankful about my current living conditions because there are countless people around the world who are much less fortunate than I am and going through quite a hard time right now. Not everybody is able to work from home either. So many are putting themselves at risk just by going to work and earning money. Many Chinese family restaurants are also going out of business, and a study shows that around half of the Chinese restaurants in the US, just in the US, have closed due to COVID-related reasons. And also a big factor is part of the prejudice against Asian people. Compared to many people in this world, I feel that I'm quite fortunate, and the COVID outbreak has really led me to believe that I take many things in life for granted. Something else I realized is that our lives are actually quite fragile. Every day, people are being infected and dying from this virus, and way more are being affected by the virus due to, for example, a family member or a friend contracting it. I'm quite grateful and relieved that none of my friends or family have gotten the virus yet, but nobody knows when their loved ones could become sick and pass away. So I believe that each and every one of us should cherish the time spent with family, especially during this time of crisis, when staying indoors together with our family is really all that can be done. In fact, I believe that this pandemic has given us a good opportunity for us to spend more time with every one of our loved ones. This brings me to my next point about how we shouldn't only think of ourselves, but we should think of others as well. In many cases, these symptoms take around 2 weeks to show up. And during the time before the symptoms come up, someone carrying the virus could infect anyone else. Even if you don't have concerns about yourself getting the virus, think about all the others who'd be suffering because you passed the virus on to them. At the start of this pandemic, I, like many others, actually didn't take wearing a mask very seriously. I thought I was going to be fine even if I got sick. I thought it wouldn't be a big deal for me because I'm of the younger age group, so I have way less of a risk. But after realizing how much danger that my decisions could put me and my family in, I now make sure to stay safe whenever I leave the house. For example, taking hand sanitizer with me at all times and wearing a mask whenever I step out of my front door. In conclusion, This pandemic has taught me many things. It has taught me about how fragile our normal everyday lives are, to be thankful for what I have, to cherish the time spent with family and friends, and to think about not just myself, but the people around me as well. Now that I've told all of you about what I have learned, think about it. What's one thing that you all have learned from this pandemic? Thank you, and stay safe.
Thank you. Speaker 6, 2 minutes for judges. Right now, we conclude with our first portion of the competition. Then we'll take a 10 minutes break. It's 2:57. Let's come back at 3:07. However, all the speaker, the cadet, should be moved to a briefing room. All right, speaker number 6 is here. Speaker number 6, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, speaker number 6. Would you rather no internet or no cell phone? Would you rather no internet or no cell phone? Speaker number 6.
I don't know about anyone else in the audience, but personally, I would rather have no cell phone. Because the main reasons behind this is because aside from cell phones, there's many other things that I could entertain myself with using the internet, such as computers, as I'm using right now, or tablets, iPads, whatever. There are many different types of technology I could have fun with. But if I didn't have any internet, I wouldn't be able to go onto YouTube, wouldn't be able to watch my favorite shows, wouldn't be able to do basically anything. I wouldn't even be able to text people on social media apps unless I'm using iMessages or something. So the things to do are very limited without internet, even if I did have my phone or computer. Because my Wi-Fi, like everyone else's, has had problems before, I know the pain of not having any Wi-Fi. At home, especially during the breaks, when I do not have any internet because of some power problem or Wi-Fi router problem, the only thing I do is get a bag of chips, lie on the bed, and eat. I don't go on my phone. I don't listen to music. I really just stare at the screen and walk around the house doing basically nothing because there's really nothing else I can do, especially during these COVID times. And without my phone, I could message people, no problem. I could even call people because now technology is quite advanced. You can FaceTime people and call people on your tablet, your iPad or anything, and even on your computer. Zoom calling or Hangouts. There are many different ways I could contact people on my computer. Like for example, there's Instagram, the app that's available on basically all computers. And Snapchat is the only exception, but that one single app I don't use that much, so it's okay. Also, I spend way more time on my computer compared to my phone. I've checked my screen time and I won't disclose the exact details, but my average screen time is on my computer versus phone is a ratio to 3:1. So I spend way more time on my computer. I'm almost always on it the whole day. In conclusion, having no phone wouldn't be that much of a concern for me at least, because there's way more different ways of me entertaining myself on other devices, as long as I have Wi-Fi. Thank you.
Thank you. Speaker number 6. Judges, you have 2 minutes. Speaker number 5. Would you rather no internet or no cell phone? Would you rather no internet or no cell phone? Speaker number 5.
The modern world is filled with amazing technologies that have brought humanity up to the top. And today I am faced with a dilemma. Would I rather have no internet or would I rather have no phone? And I thought about it just for a little bit. and I decided, wait a minute, this is easy. Good afternoon, judges, guests, fellow cadets. I have picked no phone, and I'm going to tell you why. So in 2021, I think we can all agree that the world is connected globally with the power of the internet. And yes, while the phone did come first, I think the internet has had a much grander impact in terms of scale. Let's say if I didn't have a cell phone, I would lose the ability to communicate through cell networks, which I do rarely anyway, and text messages. But phones today are pretty advanced, so I lose out on taking pictures, surfing the internet. Wait a minute, surfing the internet. So if I don't have a cell phone, I lose internet as well. This is kind of a loophole in this. But moving back to the internet, I think that we have evolved the internet to a point that if someone's living in, say, Europe, and you live, well, here, then the connection and the communications over there will be much better than what you can have on a phone. Because right now, the state of it is that you would have to get a card or, pay by the minute, some whatever, 10 cents per minute, something like that. And with the internet, that's free, even though you do have to pay for your internet service provider, but it's more or less complimentary. With the internet, you also have the millions and millions, probably even billions of resources online. And, before you could call into a library. I've heard of that before, but now you don't even have to do that. You can just type in a few keywords, bada bing, bada boom, you have what you need. So would I rather have no cell phone or no internet? And while I do lose a lot of stuff with a cell phone, overall, I think the internet has a much more important piece in my life. Thank you.
Thank you. Speaker number 5, 2 minutes for judges. Speaker 4, would you rather no internet or no cell phone? Would you rather no internet or no cell phone? Speaker number 4.
Good afternoon, everybody. When I was answered this question, I had to think about it for a second because I took it quite literally. Would I rather have no internet or no cell phone? You see, to me, the internet itself is a bubble. It's a bubble, it's a space. It's the actual posts you see, the feed you see. It's the Instagram, the Twitter, and it's what guides you to all that stuff. But our cell phones, you see, that's where things get different. To me, our cell phones are what guide us into that. It's a portal. It's our link to the internet. So I had to think about this for a moment. Take a step back and think, for one day, if I couldn't have either one of them, what would I do? What would I want? So I thought I would rather have no cell phone. Why? Because when you weigh the options together, having no internet leaves in like not having a connection to it. You'd be missing out. You'd be fearful of missing out. Having no cell phone, on the other hand, would completely destroy that option. If you don't have the key to the door, you won't even bother opening it. The same way, if you don't have the link into that spectrum, you won't bother trying to figure out what you've missed out on. Recently, I've been trying to use my phone less because that's what gets me more creative in our own space. Having no internet makes you understand that you're missing out. But if you completely remove the distraction, you're able to pursue more things in a way that's beneficial for you. So to me, if I had to choose between no internet for a day or no cell phone for a day, I would choose not to have a cell phone, because in that case, that is where I'm able to do more as a person. Having no internet would merely make me think about the stuff I've missed out on. Who's posted there? What social media has gone over there? But for me, not having a cell phone completely destroys the distraction and allows me to just be able to do better.
Thank you. Speaker number 4, judges, you have 2 minutes. Speaker number 3, are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Speaker number 3, would you rather no internet or no cell phone? Would you rather no internet or no cell phone? Speaker number 3.
Well, with this topic thrown at me at a moment's notice, I had a dooming realization that I'm not very mindful of my dependence on technology. I mean, missing both these things are a catastrophe. No internet. I mean, I can't access my favorite Netflix shows. I can't do my homework on Word Online. I can't access social media. I mean, internet is what we all depend on. I think what every single teenager and adult now depend on. Without internet, I can't do my homework. I cannot play any online video games or have fun with my friends. I can't connect with them. I don't have social media. I think social media is what every teen depends on. The lifeline of a teenager is social media here. However, no cell phone. I mean, a cell phone is literally, I think, what we all own here. No cell phone. Cell phones are portable devices that, I mean, enrich our lives. We can call people, we can call up our friends, also access social media with ease, play mobile games as well, and even submit our homework at school if we get it done through our cell phone just a minute before. I think missing both these things will have equal consequences. However, in my opinion, I would rather have no cell phone than no internet. Now, in the past, in grade 9, and now I know plenty of kids in my high school who don't even have a cell phone right now. They bring their laptops to school to do their homework. They can manage. Cell phones, although very useful, I don't think is needed. What? Because the internet can make us connect with everything and everyone. However, a cell phone can do the same, but there's plenty of other devices that can access the internet and do the same as a cell phone, such as a laptop or an iPad. And although less capable than a cell phone, much of the technology offered is on par with a cell phone. And although cell phones just have an ease, and in my opinion, I don't think I need that ease. I don't think I need that ease. And so in conclusion, I would probably have internet and not use a cell phone. Thank you.
Thank you. Speaker 3, judges, you have 2 minutes. Speaker 2, would you rather no internet or no cell phone? Would you rather no internet or no cell phone? Speaker 2.
In a world where technology is an integral part of our daily lives, having a connection to the internet is essential. From our Zoom tournament today to online classes at school, COVID-19 especially has helped to highlight the importance of the internet. Today, I will be discussing with you why I would rather have no cell phone over no internet. I'll be bringing up 3 main points in my speech today: how the internet is crucial for education, in providing discourse within society, as well as having a connection to your friends, and why these reasons contribute to why I would choose no cell phone over no internet. First of all, in education, we've seen dramatic increases in the use of technology and internet in our classroom space. From having laptops in school settings to be able to have access to videos, resources, learning guides, and worksheets, all through a click of the mouse on the internet. This part of education on the internet is extremely important for our society today, as it gives educators and students a platform and access to millions of helpers online who can help you answer questions online tutoring, and things like videos from Khan Academy or YouTube that are extremely crucial when things like teachers might not be there 24/7 for a student to access. A second part of why internet is so crucial is the ability to have discourse within members of society on social media or other media platforms. Discourse is one of the most crucial aspects of society today, as it's where we're able to share ideas, values, beliefs, and thoughts with people from all different types of perspectives. And on the internet, that is something we would have never thought we could do, maybe even just 60 years ago, when the internet wasn't as widespread and as popular. Finally, I want to talk about a connection to your friends through the internet. Back when we used to only use cell phones and phone lines as a way of communicating, it would often be difficult to arrange times to call with your friends or have that access to the internet so quickly at a snap of a finger. Therefore, I believe that with the 3 points I brought up today, education in classrooms, discourse through society on the internet, and a connection to your friends, I would rather have no cell phone rather than no internet. And thank you. Back to you, Madam Chairman.
Thank you. 2 minutes for judges. Speaker 1, would you rather no internet or no cell phone? Would you rather no internet or no cell phone? Speaker 1.
I'm sure that internet and phones are very important for functioning in society, especially for me as a teenager. And I think I can speak for all the teenagers, actually. Maybe it's sitting down on the toilet or waiting for the bus stop. You just scroll on your phone and it keeps you a teenager. But if you could only have one, either internet or a phone, which would you pick? For me, I'd personally pick internet, but we have to first compare the pros and the cons. For internet, you can have Google. Maybe you're stuck on how to unclog a toilet. You just Google that up. But for phones, that's a different story, because maybe you're lost somewhere, you can call someone, or maybe you just want to take down some notes to remind you for later. You can also take some pictures to remind yourself of maybe when your dog was sleeping and it looked really cute. And I think that's a great way to capture some memories. But for me, I think that the internet is better than a phone, because with notes, you can copy it down on another app on the internet, such as Discord, WhatsApp, Notes, whatever you would like. For pictures, instead of using a phone, you could use a camera instead, because that works just as well. And if you want to call someone, again, you can use WhatsApp, WeChat, whatever you would like. It doesn't really matter. So all in all, from my personal experience, I think the internet is more valuable than using a regular cell phone.
Thank you, Speaker 1. 2 minutes for judges. Speaker 1 to Speaker 6, may I have you to rename yourself back to your rank and your name, and turn on your video. Wow, I'm so proud of you, all of you. You have a very good time management of all your speeches, and I enjoy all of them. I'm an experienced teenager, and I also need internet for my work and my social life. Okay, I would like to have some interview with all of you. I would like to start with speaker number 1, Flight Couple Chan. Turn on your audio, please. Okay, Flight Couple Chan, would you please let us know which squadron that you're from and how many years that you've been joined?
I'm in 637 Aero Squadron, ma'am. I've been in my squadron for 3 years. Yeah, 3 years, I think.
Have you ever been to any summer training?
No, ma'am.
What aspect did you miss the most when the restriction lifted?
That's quite a hard question. I'd say I have to miss gliding because it's pretty fun.
Do you know BC is the only province we own our glider?
Oh, really? Oh, I guess I'm lucky then.
You are. Enjoy that. Whenever you have time, just sign up. Okay, let's move on to speaker number 2. Speaker number 2. Oh, we have a Flight Sergeant, Quinn. Where are you? Okay, Flight Sergeant Quinn, can you tell me something about your squadron and like how long have you been with that?
Yeah, for sure. So I've been with my squadron for 5 years, so this is my 5th. And something about my squadron is that I'd say we're a pretty big squadron in the Lower Mainland. I think we have almost 180 cadets, somewhere around there. So lots of people in our squadron, and it makes for really exciting parade nights and teams since we have so many cadets who participate.
That's great. Good to hear that. And can you share some summer training experience with our fellow cadets?
Yeah, for sure. So 2 years ago, I believe, I went to Advanced Aerospace, which is a national summer course out in Quebec. And I think it was one of my favorite cadet experiences. It was just so much fun. So if anyone here is thinking of going to Advanced Aerospace, I highly recommend it. We did some really cool things like underwater scuba diving in a pool. We did a lot of robots, a lot of rocket building. So if any of that interests you, I highly recommend that you take the course.
That's great. So do you like teaching classes?
Yeah, good question. So I do, like, I know some people don't, but I do personally like teaching classes because it gives me a chance to kind of interact with the junior cadets outside of things like teams and just like within a classroom setting. I think it's really fun to kind of hear what cadets are, like what they want to learn, and also have them answering questions and things like that. I think it's just super fun being able to share my knowledge with them. So yeah, I think other than maybe making like lesson plans and all that, I think I do like teaching cadets.
I think I'll enjoy being in a class with you. I like your smile.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Okay, number 3 is Sergeant Sun. Sergeant
Yes, ma'am.
Sun, can you tell me about your squadrons? What is it, and like maybe how big is it?
Well, I am in 808 COQUITLAM Squadron, and I've been in it for 4 years. I think we are the only squadron in COQUITLAM, and we are quite a small squadron actually. We have 80 to 100 cadets, but what we miss in quantity, we make up for in quality.
That's excellent. You are not very small. Compared with most of the squadron, they might be less than 60. So you are kind of a moderate squadron.
Moderate, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess.
Have you ever been to any of the summer training?
Unfortunately, no, I have not.
Other than effective speaking, did you join any team?
Yeah, I was in ground school this year and last year, as well as first aid.
Can you tell me something about the first aid training?
I guess first aid team was really fun actually, because after the cut, we started doing a lot of interactive things, such as bandaging and all that. And I think that gave us a chance to strengthen our first aid skills as well as cooperate with our fellow cadets and teach younger cadets how to do first aid, I guess. So really fun experience and a good way to earn your first aid license.
Definitely. Do you guys know that effective speaking is the only competition we can have this year in the cadet program? So it is really cool for you to get the bronze pin from us. All of the WANG competition contestants will receive a bronze pin. If you can advance to the provincial level, there will be a silver pin. And if you are good enough to be at the provincial level, then you'll get a gold pin. It's very unique and you can put on your jacket. Okay, let's move on to speaker number 4. Speaker number 4, we have another flight sergeant who is a pilot. Would you please let us know your squadron number and how long have you been with the squadron?
I'm from 767 DEARMAN Squadron, and I've been with the squadron for I think 5 years, 6 years now.
Great. You said you had both pilot wings, and which one that you like the most?
Right, so I haven't gone to power yet, but I have been to glider. That was a blast though, stressful for sure, but I'm glad I got to go before this whole COVID thing, and it sucks that it got canceled again, but it's tough.
Okay, can you tell us if we ride on a commercial plane and there is out of power and we fall on a forest? What should we do? Should we panic?
Maybe don't panic, because that'll make things way worse. But maybe what you just gotta do is listen to the pilot in command and they'll take care of you. I'm not too sure.
Okay, that's great. Because I watched too much TV and it made me nervous.
All right, yeah.
So maybe all of the air cadets should go on the pilot scholarship. Then you can be the pilot and let people know what to do.
Maybe.
Any other summer training experience that you would like to share with us?
I had fun at airport operations, but I think the most fun camp I went to was my very first one, general training. It was all just kicks and having a good time, and it was awesome. Yeah, the first camp.
Yeah, definitely. My son told me what he enjoyed in the camp is meet with people from other squadrons.
Yeah, it's really cool. You just meet different people, and it's awesome.
Yeah, it can be your lifetime friend. All the support. Okay, let's move on to speaker number 5. We have flight couple. Speaker number 5. Oops, yeah, here you go.
Hello.
May I have your squadron number and how long have you been with the squadron?
Right. Hello, I'm from 767 DEARMAN, and I've been there for 4 years now.
Okay. Have you ever been to any summer training?
I was hoping you would ask that. No, I've not been, unfortunately.
Do you want to attend any of them in the future?
Oh, I do. I really do. I hope I can get to it someday.
You still have chances. And what aspect did you miss the most when the restriction lift?
How much time do you have?
A lot. I just moved you.
If I'm gonna say one thing, I miss being able to see someone.
Mm.
Like it's a little jarring having just the screen in between them, and yeah, it's just something different about having being face to face and in person, right? Because human nature, we're social creatures, and I don't speak for everyone, but like I kind of miss that.
That's true. I miss my family too. So what is your favorite Canadian food?
Poutine, full stop.
Okay. You know California roll is from us?
Yeah, I
Canadian
figured that
food
out.
as well.
I learned about that like a couple of weeks ago, actually.
Mm. Great. Let's move on to, wow, the last speaker, speaker number 6, Sergeant Wang. May I have your squadron number and how long have you been there?
Hello, I'm from 808 COQUITLAM, and I've been there for 4 years.
4 years. Have you ever been to any summer training?
Even though I've been there for 4 years, no, I have not been there before. I was going to go, but then COVID hit, so I couldn't
Oh,
go.
I see.
Yeah, during the summer.
Yeah, maybe you can look for something else when in-person training is back.
Yeah, for
Or
sure.
stay with Effective Speaking. We are always on, just like now. So what is your favorite Canadian food?
Favorite Canadian food? It's not a food, but I like maple syrup.
Oh, nice. Do you cook? Do you cook pancake?
I don't cook at all. I get my sister and my mom to cook it. And I put
That's
maple syrup on it.
So lucky, you just put maple syrup on that. So what aspect did you miss the most when the restriction lifted?
Aspect as in cadet aspect or
Anything.
anything? Oh, personally, I miss like being able to hang out with my friends the most.
Yeah, we are like soul ring people will like to be with someone.
Yeah.
So after the pandemic, which team that you might want to join at the cadet?
After the pandemic, I'm really looking forward to the biathlon actually, if it's still gonna be on, because I joined biathlon I joined it before and it was really fun, so I want to have another chance at it.
Yeah, it does. Okay. Any questions from the cadet to BCPC? We have one of our BCPC director here. If you have any questions, you can ask. Or maybe may I have Miss Elgert to address to the cadet?
Good afternoon, everyone. Just want to congratulate you all for participating in the Effective Speaking program. This is a unique program in that it will provide you with tools that you can take forward throughout your life. It's an excellent tool for your toolbox of skills, and I can guarantee you, you will come back to use those tools in everything that you do going forward. So congratulations to you for doing that this year, and hopefully you'll continue to program to hone those skills as you move forward. I'd also like to thank the judges and the timer and teller for coming out this afternoon, because without your participation, we wouldn't be able to have this competition. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
Catherine.
Thank you. May I have judges ready? Would like you to tell us something about you as a judge. May I have judge number 1. May I have Miss Laura Smith, who is judge number 1. Can you tell us something about yourself and like any comments to the cadets?
Sorry, my son just came in from outside. Any comments to the cadets? A little bit about myself. I'm mom, one son. I'm a child and youth care worker, so I work with youth. Connected to cadets through judge number 3, which I don't know if she's joined us yet or not. I've did this once before, and I was a returning judge. So I very much enjoy seeing younger kids and different age groups and stuff like that, just presenting different topics, and how well they are presented always, I don't want to say amazes me, but it really does, because I work with a lot of kids that struggle in a lot of those areas. And so seeing youth that are working really hard to do that is really encouraging. So I think it's a great example to the rest of the community, the type of structure and the type of encouragement and the type of discipline that it takes in the cadets to reflect in different parts of their life. So I think that's always great to be a part of that. Sorry, my son's a dog crawling into the room. I apologize. Hello. Yeah, I just think that overall, there was a bit of nerves that were visible, but I think people did a really great job. And there's just a small things. I made a bit of comments on my papers that I'll be sending in for hopefully the cadets to reflect on. And I'm on the computer, you have to be quiet. I think especially the impromptu speeches, having to structure it and go through it, I just want to congratulate the cadets on that. That can be very daunting. And you guys all did very well with that and bringing in some points. Of course, there was a bit of loose ends because you didn't have much time to prepare, but I think overall it was really well done, guys. So you should feel good, feel proud of yourselves.
Thank you. And let's move on to, okay, Captain Colosi, our long-time friend of BC, and welcome back. Assume, actually he's in Manitoba right now. Can you tell us something about you?
Oh, good afternoon, or good evening here, I guess. I'm in Manitoba, like Ms. Jack said. I'm in Thompson, Manitoba, which, if you know where Winnipeg is, drive about 8 hours straight north. And so we're still in the minus temperatures for the most part up here. I think today is actually barely in the single digits above, but yeah, I'm the commanding officer of the cadet unit here, 737. I started at 767 in Surrey, and so that's how I got into this today, was through C.I. Kelly and the crew over there. And they asked me to help out, and actually this makes it that I haven't been an official at effective speaking at the zone level before this, but with this, I've now been an official at zone level for every type of competition that cadets does. Biathlon, range, drill team, effective speaking, got it all under the belt. Yeah, so I can definitely relate with you when you said you missed the biathlon side, and I'm looking forward to getting back to the Canada Games. I was at the Red Deer Canada Games, and I'm hoping to be at the PEI Canada Games in 2023, assuming that goes ahead with the biathlon crew there.
Wow, so cool. And looking forward to see you in BC. Okay, after all the interviews, we will have to play a video from our National Effective Speaking Committee that showcased you what was the past winner, I mean the participant of the national level effective speaking competitor, that nowadays, what are they doing? And they have some tips for you.
Hey everyone, my name is Andrew Juvenin, and I represented Squadron 249 at the competition in 2014.
Canada is awesome, but it wasn't always awesome. In fact, it wasn't even always known as Canada. But 150 years ago, some awesome people got together and figured out how to make it happen.
I graduated from the Royal Military College of Canada in 2018 with a degree in chemical engineering. I'm currently a helicopter pilot for the Royal Canadian Air Force, and I'm posted to 103 Search and Rescue Squadron in Gander, Newfoundland to fly the CH-149 Cormorant.
William Henry Pope had to row out in his own little rowboat and bring everyone ashore each day. So as funny as it sounds, Canada almost didn't become a country because of a circus.
I think for me, the effective speaking program highlighted the importance of thinking outside the box, being confident in your ability to take an idea and have some fun with it.
Hi, I'm Jay Shaw, and I represented Saskatchewan at the 2017 and 2018 National Effective Speaking Competition. Currently, I'm finishing my computer engineering degree, and right now I'm on a 16-month internship designing satellite communication systems.
The three aims of the Air Cadet program are to number 1, develop good citizenship and leadership. Number 2, promote physical fitness. And number 3, stimulate an interest in the air element of the Canadian Forces. But is that all that the Air Cadet program does? I don't think so. Instead of just accomplishing these goals, I think the Air Cadet program provides something much more valuable: opportunity.
For me, the effective speaking program helped me build the skills needed to communicate on a big stage. Not just speaking skills, but also writing and thinking on-the-spot skills as well.
Hi everyone, my name is Pearl Barnes, and in 2016 I represented the 675 Bow Valley Air Cadet Squadron in the National Effective Speaking Competition in Richmond, BC. Currently, I am in Saskatoon getting my degree in education to become a high school English and French teacher. I also volunteer at the 702 Lynx Air Cadet Squadron in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, and I'm an improviser in the USask Improv Theatre Group.
As I put on my headset to shut out 4 of the engines, I heard the pilot tell us to get ready because he would be taking off as soon as he got permission. A few words I didn't quite catch were spoken over the radio, and suddenly, we were going fast. Faster, it seemed, than I had ever gone.
I've gained so much from being in effective speaking. I was in the program from my first year all the way up into my 5th year when I won nationals. It's helped me become more confident not only in my future career as a teacher, but in so many facets of life. I am more confident speaking in front of a group of people. I'm more comfortable making friends. I'm more comfortable being in front of a camera. And I owe so much of that confidence to my experiences in the effective speaking program. If I could have one thing to say to the youth, kids who are thinking of joining Air Cadets, I could not recommend highly enough the effective speaking program. It really has changed who I am.
Hi, my name is Chris Zhou, and I represented 60 Confederation Squadron Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island, all the way back in 2014. And I just graduated from McMaster University in the Health Sciences program.
I went up to the flight surgeon who was in charge, and I asked him, well, aren't you gonna be mad at me? I've just wasted hours of hard work, and now it's gonna rain and we have to do it again, and he stopped me. He placed a reassuring hand on my shoulder, and he said to me these 6 words: cheer up, it's gonna be all right.
For me, the effective speaking program gave me the courage, know-how, and the experience to communicate effectively with people professionally and personally. I remember right after I aged out of cadets, I was selected to be on the Prime Minister's Youth Council. And I was presenting ideas and suggestions directly to the Prime Minister. And I gotta tell you, if it wasn't for the effective speaking program, I don't think I would have been able to do that. So my advice is, if you're even considering about joining the effective speaking program, don't even hesitate, go for it. It was such a valuable part of my cadet experience, and I think it can be very valuable for you as well.
It is 1917. Sunrise creeps above the horizon. Artillery shells whistle overhead, and men scream on the ground.
Hi, my name is Cody Lincoln. I competed in the National Effective Speaking Competition 3 times, and I currently work as a duty officer at Vanguard Air Care. the effective speaking program has helped me leaps and bounds into having my intercommunication skills with other coworkers, speaking in front of a group without having any fears. It's helped me to be able to voice my opinions. And in life, the effective speaking program has helped me countless times to not be afraid to speak in front of people. And I can't wait to see where it helps me next.
If we look to the battlefields of World War I, we see why freedom is not free and why we cannot forget. It is only there that we may truly understand why it solidified the beliefs of our great nation, Canada.
Thanks to the cadet program, I have a bright future and have progressed as both a pilot and a person. And I'm more than proud to say I wear the 101 crest, both on my flight suit and my tunic. Thank you.
I don't think it's an overstatement to say that communication is the cornerstone of society. Politics, religion, science, art, they're all based on the idea of conveying information from one person to another. I cannot thank enough the Air Cadet program for teaching me communication skills, especially those that I learned in the effective speaking program.
And here I am, 4th year in a row, representing my squadron and now the province in effective speaking.
After all, speaking is the most important form of communication. You try going a day without talking to someone and tell me how much you get done. Back in 2015, I graduated from the program. I was a pilot and did fairly well in the effective speaking program. Now, I've been combining those two skills in order to communicate my skills to other people. I've tutored people here in town in order to go to flight school. And I'm involved with my local search and rescue unit, where I've trained several spotters in order to execute search and rescue missions across the vast Arctic. So, I hope that you, watching this here, will participate in your squadron's local effective speaking competition, and you go forward and use those skills to help others.
Hi, I'm Cameron Kinsella. I'm formerly from 807 Mount Pearl Squadron in Newfoundland, and I competed in the National Effective Speaking Competition in 2019. Currently, I'm studying mechatronics engineering at the University of Waterloo. The effective speaking program has provided me with a variety of skills that help me in both my personal and professional life. I found that I can speak with much more confidence and much more easily to large groups of people. And in my professional life, I found that I can communicate my ideas and thoughts much more clearly and accurately. When it comes to technology, you have to take the good with the bad. And in my eyes, the ability to better educate the world and save lives outweighs everything else. Today, we live in the digital age, and I'm happy to be alive to see it. Without this new advanced technology, I wouldn't be learning a new language. I may not be alive today. And perhaps most importantly, I wouldn't be able to start off my day by watching videos of cats playing boxes. I've never really been the outgoing type, so the effective speaking program was really outside my comfort zone. But even so, the skills that I gained from the program have been incredibly valuable for me in my daily life, and I'm eternally grateful for the opportunity to have been able to receive those skills.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it'll just be a few more minutes. I'm maneuvering our tally person into the main session, and we will have some announcements to make. So give me 1 second, please.
And at the time that we still haven't received the result yet, may I have judge number 2, Miss Elizabeth Berner, tell us something about you, and do you have any comments to the cadets?
Like I said, I was a cadet through the program all the way from 2000 to 2007, and I became an officer in 2015. And I just wanted to say that I know how hard it is to get in front of people, to teach, and just to speak. But I just want to remind you that this is not the only time you'll use this skill in your life. And through my work for health and safety, when I teach classes, everybody thinks that I use the stuff that I learned in university. Not so much. I use most of what I learned in cadets, because that's where I actually got put in the tough situations. I got forced to speak and forced to teach and ask and answer those questions. So value what you're learning here and you'll use it for the rest of your life. Thanks, guys. Great work. It was wonderful to listen to all you guys speak today.
Thank you so much. So cadets, would you please unmute yourself? I have some questions for you while we're waiting. Do you know how many squadrons that we have in BC? Anyone know about that? No? We are kind of a big, like across Canada. We have 57 squadrons in BC. So remember that. It might be some of the scholarship questions in the future. And what about, any of you know that the 808 Squadron, how many years it's been with our family? Okay, Sergeant Sung.
2016, ma'am.
2016, so 5 years. Any celebration?
Pardon?
Any celebration?
I don't think so, ma'am.
Oh, too bad. I'd like to go and attend.
Maybe we'll have one when COVID's over.
Oh, I see. Okay, that would be great.
Yeah.
So do you, other than that, do you know there is a self-learning program of effective speaking launch from February 2020 from this year? No? Then cadet, you should ask for the officers. There are some resources from the like formation, and they have some self-teach program. You can enhance your knowledge on effective speaking. Oh, great. We have our names for the winners. Miss Elgert, I will forward that to you. And would you please announce result?
Okay, I think I've got it now.
Okay. Yeah, it's kind of different with than before.
Right.
Okay, drum roll, please. Dun, 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 dun.
The bronze medal, I've got Flight Corporal Dylan Tonkman.
Oops.
Congratulations.
Oh, it's from 777 DEARMAN, 767 DEARMAN Squadron.
Right. Okay. And for the silver medal, we
Drum
have
roll, please.
Flight Sergeant Lara ISMAIL.
Wow, we have 2 candidates from 767.
Okay, and then the gold medal.
Drum roll.
Flight Sergeant Hannah Quinn.
Congratulations of all the cadets. And this is the plaque that we are going to engrave Flight Sergeant Quinn and the squadron number on that. The Provincial Effective Speaking Competition is welcome to everyone. It will be held on April 17, 2021. The Zoom link is below. However, we will send it over by via emails to all officers and the SSC across the province. Everyone are welcome. If you have any questions, you may email effectivespeaking.bcpc@gmail.com. It concludes our competition today. Thank you, everyone, and welcome. And we'd like to see you all next year, especially in-person training. We would like to visit your squadron and talk to you.